everybody, welcome to Sydney. This is the XtremIO team. We're here down by the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. It's a beautiful summer's day. Here with me I've got Daniel. Hello. And we've got Stas from our business operations team. So we're here to talk to you today about the Generation 4 challenge that Mike Wing set out for everybody. And we're going to talk about all flash storage and how the evolution of the flash media has taken place in the data center.
So guys, what is the best way to describe the evolution of the all-flash arrays?
Well, you know, an article came out by Wikibon, and this is what caused all this. I won't go into it in detail just yet, but the fact is that it all began when we decided that it was a good idea to put SSD drives into the same slots as spinning disks went into. And this is about 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago. From there on, it's been a transitional number of phases in the industry that have led to where we are now, which is what we call Gen 4, and that's where we are today. So it's the last 6 or 7 years of taking flash from part of a storage array to making it the heart of the storage array.
So let's start with the first one. What is the Generation 1?
That's a great question, Stas. So Generation 1 was really, came to the enterprise with by EMC and based in our DMX4 series. And really all that happened was we took a regular flash disk and put it in place of a magnetic drive. So there was really no software change or architectural changes to the system. And all it did really was improve the performance and the latency of certain workloads. The downside though was that those controllers in those arrays weren't really designed for flash. So they didn't really have enough horsepower to drive the flash to make the best use of it. And it also was very, very expensive because there was no technology to reduce the data or make the data set smaller. So, the provision of workload onto flash in Generation 1 was, very, very niche use case and extremely expensive to use.
It does make sense, Glenn. And it naturally leads me to the question, what is the Gen 2?
So think of Gen 2 as the evolution of what Glenn just explained, but it was done by a number of other companies that saw promise in beginning afresh. You're here looking at companies that started with your typical dual controller array model, and basically they tiered flash as the main entry point to the array, but data always had to fall onto disk. So there's a number of advantages to this. The disadvantages are still that you're still writing to spinning disk. You have what we call a hybrid model, and you won't have a nice flat latency across your reads and writes into your storage array. So better than what you had before, but not so great just yet.
So is it a difference like a quantitative? I mean, what is the difference still between Gen 1 and Gen 2?
So, my view was that EMC's had influence in both those generations. So the very early DMX was really like Generation 1, and even our VNX series, which things like Fast Cache and Fast VP, were really flash optimized systems. So that's really making a better use of that flash investment. But still, as Daniel mentioned, you're still reliant on magnetic disk underneath to provide a lot of the I/O. So that consistency and ease of management really isn't there.
So we finally, I think, get to the point when we get the all array flash, which is the Gen 3. So what is it basically?
So Gen 3 is really, it's funny, EMC really missed Gen 3 completely, and a lot of people criticise us for that. But when you look inside what Gen 3 is, it's people who've taken flash and built their array fundamentally for flash only. But they've done it in such a way as to not make it really ready for the enterprise. They've taken dual controller architectures, have again fairly limited scale, and they've either done it in one of two ways. They've either taken an extreme performance approach, like violin memory or IBM, their flash system, where they concentrated solely on extreme performance. Or there's other people like Pure Storage who've gone down the efficiency path, but they have sacrificed performance by doing that. Ultimately, the Generation 3 can't do both performance and efficiency together. They have to make a trade-off, one or the other.
Now that makes me really excited. What is the Gen 4 then, guys?
Why? It's XtremIO, of course. So look, Gen 4, and I think Glenn put it well. Generation 4 is about no compromise between scalability and performance, amongst other things. Obviously, the first thing that we want to look at is how do we make the platform more scalable. Now you're really talking about all flash arrays, so you've got to flash through and through inside your array, but you want to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck, okay? So things like compression and deduplication, they have to be in line. They can no longer be done post-processing. Right? They have to be a data service that's always active and always making the most of your existing investment. Now that also leads to consistency. If you now have this really powerful platform, which by the way has multiple controllers, it's not just two anymore, okay? And it can deliver all these IOPS and all this capacity at a very linear, what we call latency, you know, in the order of less than a millisecond preferably, then you have a winner through and through. But to me, the most, even though these are the features that we've had for a while, the most significant feature that really brings all the TCO realizations into place is, in our technology, we base it around snapshots. In the Wikibon article, they call it shared copy data. Yeah, some of that.
So, I mean, Wikibon estimates that a single application data set is replicated or copied between 8 and 10 times in every enterprise. And in most cases, with the traditional approach, people that on different systems have many, many copies of the infrastructure and the data. Anytime they need to refresh that data, it would be heavy lifting, copy processing from one platform to the other. With a scale-out all-flash array with data reduction technologies, you can put all that one into a single platform. Right? And instead of having 10 copies, you're effectively de-duplicating it down to 1. So this is really the power of having a scale-out, consolidation platform like XtremIO architecture. And really, this is why XtremIO is the #1 market leader in all-flash arrays.
So it seemed for me that all the previous platforms, they were actually promising to deliver a cost-effective solution for the enterprise, but it's only the generation 4 which actually finally, like XtremIO, as you've said, which finally delivered on the promise.
Absolutely, that's XtremIO does deliver the promise. It's awesome. So really, that's us. We're Gen 4 certified. The challenge is out. So Matt Walensky, Christoph Diesinger, we challenge you guys to do the same.
We'll be waiting for you guys. Come on board.
Thanks.